everybody, to another edition of the Rockpile Report podcast. I am your host, Bill, season ticket holder Drew Gear. That's my producer, Chris Kruger, in studio with us tonight. The world famous, the world renowned, one of my personal heroes, Anthony Prohaska from Cover One of the Disguised Coverage podcast. And we're here talking about injury aversion and how Anthony, he can't stomach injury talk. We're also talking about how this is tonight. Do you guys remember, for those of you watching live right now, when Matt Castle did a K-Swiss Tubes commercial? Because he'd never seen it.
No.
Somehow he'd made it his entire adult life not seeing the Danny McBride, Matt Castle K-Swiss Tubes commercial. You just got to see this masterpiece for the first time in your life. What were your thoughts?
It was funny. I liked it. I'm a big Kenny Powers fan. It was good. I'm still. How do I make the opening video cut up montage?
Here's what you do.
I need to make. I was looking. I wasn't really paying attention, but then I was kind of like I was jamming out to the song, but then I was like, how do I make this cut? I noticed all the photos.
Here's the thing.
Tell you,
we don't have such a sophisticated way of doing shows. I mean, we probably can. It'd take a little bit more production-wise to where all cameras are running on everybody and recording at the same time. So when I tell Drew, hey, we just signed LaViscus Chenault, I could single out your camera. We don't have that technology. I mean, we can do it. It would just be much more on the back end for producing it. So
this is what
maybe if we
I need to make the cut.
Tonight during the live show, Buffalo announces that Chenault is on the 53.
Well, I
doubt that happens, but
he's got wide receiver 1 written all over.
So here's what I love is that the real answer to that question is you get in the DeLorean. You get it up to 88 miles an hour, and you go back in time a decade when Chris came to me and said, "Hey, do you want to make a podcast together?" And you push me off of a balcony at a house party, and you just slip right in and go, "No, Chris, I'll totally be the host of this hypothetical podcast of yours." That's how you get an intro that good.
I don't think I just need to make. You got plenty of people in the cut up. I got to do something eventful, I guess, to make that opening cut up.
Here. I will say you are probably our best behaved guest.
I don't know if that's a compliment or not.
Guys, we are here talking about training camp week 2, stock up, stock down. I shouldn't call it a victory lap. It sounds like a mean thing to say, I'm going to take a victory lap over someone else's demise, but also I'm not a good person. So I don't know that it's not something I haven't done before. Balin Spector didn't even make it to the 53-man roster cut down. He has been released from the team, cleared waivers, and is now on IR.
I don't understand. And you as a person who hates him, but you hate many things.
I don't hate him. I just hated the idea of him.
But why? I don't get all the hate. Oh, so shout out to Jeremy in the chat. Yeah, it's a Brett Hitman Hart shirt. Yeah, absolutely fucking not for Hulk. But I don't understand. There's a good I would tweet something else, and there would be a couple people in the comments would be like, "Yeah, you never see Baylor Spector making that. Fuck Baylor Spector." I don't get why he gets so much hate and why he's so, especially for a backup guy who played teams, and I don't think he was that bad when he was in there, but so the hate for me I find very interesting.
Hey, Anthony, we could rewind it to Drew, I don't even remember the draft year, but you should have heard this man's disdain for Deron Lee.
Oh, that's funny.
I called Deron Lee Keith Ellison 2.0, and I said that it's a travesty that he's a first-round draft pick.
I could see that. You know what's funny too? At camp on Sunday, I saw some kid in the hospitality tent, the friends and family one, rocking. And I mean, maybe it was related to him, but rocking a Clemson Balin Spector jersey, the home one, the orange with the 10. And I was like, what a pull. See, I just don't, why? For someone, he's so innocuous. There's no, why spend the energy hating Balin Spector and or dancing on his grave right now?
When it comes to energy for hating anything, I'm like the Incredible Hulk. I'm undefeated. I have nothing but time. There's no,
but why? What has he done?
It's what he hasn't done, which is do anything meaningful for my football team when we.
He's made some. He's a back. He's a fourth string linebacker.
And
what fourth string linebacker is good? Why are you upset at a fourth string linebacker?
I don't know. Joe Andreessen seems like he's pretty good.
Does he?
I like saying things that upset Anthony because nobody gets to see that side of him. Everybody who's
I'm not upset. I just don't like you.
Everybody who's gotten to see Anthony.
Fingers and dislocations. And
so guys, I wanted to kind of break down the fourth wall here. There's something that happens throughout the podcast landscape, the podcasting community, the content creation community.
This is how you just get to people on cover one.
No, there's
Anthony and Greg.
No. It's even broader than that. There's a lot of people who are good at what they do. There's a lot of people who offer up a lot of really salient points, and everybody has a specialized skill set. They have a thing that they're good at. Your specialty is breaking down film,
being super handsome,
and really explaining the nuances of what happened on a given play and the mechanics of what people are seeing that maybe they miss in real time. You're great at that. Eric does a flavor of that. Eric's he's got a magnanimous kind of nature to him, and he's easy to get along with. He's easy to talk to. So players gravitate towards that because they go, here's a guy who knows ball, and also he's easy to talk to. Of course I'd go do that show, and you guys get to do film room shows over on Cover One. What night?
Wednesdays, especially in season. We'll be live every Wednesday breaking down tape.
And so you guys get to go do these things because you're good at that. And then you get the other guys who are journalists who are really good at the science of journalism, and they went to a school that taught them the ins and the outs of, how to write an article and sources,
circling the wagons,
how to manage sources, and all of these things. My superpower is that I'm conversational, but I have a way of just everybody who views themselves as a composed professional in the art of like podcasting or content creation or journalism, whatever it is. I can get under their skin.
You're not under my skin, though.
No, but I know as soon as I find a crack and I know what makes you tick, I know I can bring out a little something. I can bring out a little juice.
I won't let that happen. I just don't see the Bailey Spector thing isn't necessarily unique to you. You're just a good representative.
Thanks for joining us. Finally watching live. I love it.
You're just a good representative of it. I don't get.
I'm always a good representative of everything that's bad. If there's something that's bad or that riles someone up, I'm great at being the face.
I just want to know what team. Again, and I'm not advocating that like Spector was great, but I just what team's fourth linebacker is someone that steps in and you're like, oh, he's gonna ball out. He's gonna be sweet. Oh man, he's great. I just don't. That's not really happening, especially in today's football. And I can see people being like, man, I'm not a fan of Spector, but there's a good segment of the fan base, yourself included, that like has this intense vitriol and hatred for him, and I just find it super intriguing. Like he's just so.
I think it's because,
I just wouldn't expect that.
I think it's because I know a little bit of the inside baseball involved with this, and I'm not going to say anything other than Balin Spector didn't do enough, and that's why he's not right now a professional football player.
That's fair. And couldn't the biggest thing, the best ability is availability, and you so much.
Balin Spector didn't do enough of that. And I have it on good authority that some of it may or may not have been his fault. And you look at that and you say to yourself, okay, you should be trying to move mountains. I mean, you've got a quarterback who's paying out of his own pocket to have specialists come in and help him map his own throwing in real, like, hey, we're going to 3D model your training camp practices so that we can check up on your mechanics, make sure you're dialed in.
Yeah.
This is a guy who's going above and beyond to make sure that his body and his mechanics and the way he approaches his craft are prepared. You have to play at that level if you want to be on a Super Bowl winning team. And unfortunately, Balin Spector did not do those things, and he is not here. And that's what's offensive to me. And that's why, like, when you talk about it, I probably am a little more educated on these things than some of the average fans who say it, but I like saying it to see your reaction because, again, it's not that you're defending him; you're just standing up for common sense. Something that most people realize. Drew just battles that every day.
That went by the wayside a long time ago.
Now, I want to open up tonight's Stock Up, Stock Down report with a really fun one. We're going to start with Stock Down, and that is the sense of timing on the part of James Cook's agent. I mean, does it get worse than this? Like, hey,
that haircut.
Let's go to camp. Let's go to camp.
The subtle shots from behind the producer's seat.
Look at that. Look at his face, though. It's not great. This is not great. These things are not great. So with this said, here's what I love about this. You tell your client, go to camp, play the good soldier. And then you start to get close in negotiations. If you believe the Tom Pelliceros and the Diana Rossinis of the world, the things are getting close. Mm-hmm. And that's when you decide to go to your client and go, hey, now we stage our holdout. Don't worry, this won't backfire in any way, shape, or form.
No, you lure them into a false sense of security, and then you seize.
And first of all, I want to say, when you consider all of the acrimonious holdouts and contract negotiations that went on this offseason.
Greg in the comments said his agent is negotiating like Dwight.
I was thinking
from
like Dwight with Jan with the I want the branch.
Which
I
is,
await your decision.
Which is funny because I have an office reference to all of this. But you think about it, the Crosby stuff, the Myles Garrett stuff, the Hendrickson stuff, the Parsons stuff, every major offseason negotiation has gone terribly and been public and acrimonious and dirty. Cook's hasn't been. And then all of a sudden his agent goes, all right, now it's time. The cameras are rolling. HBO's going to get it. Don't worry, man. We're going to get you the bag. And 48, like it was like Jeff Hardy off the turnbuckle against The Undertaker. Jeff Hardy off the turnbuckle, ladder match against The Undertaker. Here comes Kyron Williams signing an extension for $11 million AAV. 22, what is it, $23 million or $24 million guaranteed. And it just puts a cement cap over this. Hey, here's your ceiling, James Cook.
I don't know if it does, because if Cook and his camp feel that he's better than Kyron, that may have set the
good,
floor.
and you can feel that, but guess who's on the field on third downs? Kyron Williams. You know who's not on the field on third downs here in Buffalo? James Cook.
Yeah, there's just different guys, though.
Okay, there's different guys. Guess what?
No, they're different, yeah.
They're different guys. One of them's an electric runner. Mm-hmm. Cook is a better runner than Kyron Williams.
Yes.
Kyron Williams has more. He's proven in back-to-back years he can have the same season James Cook just had. His utilization might be different, but the output's the same if you're just box score hunting. So all of this stuff is hilarious that you're like, okay, now is when we make our stand. And immediately someone comes in and kicks the chair out from underneath you.
Yeah, it's hilariously ironic.
It is hilarious. So now the only question is, with a player taking less than it's reported what James Cook was demanding from the Buffalo Bills, and if it's not a ceiling, it at least sets a precedent, a very recent one for a guy who they can say, look, he had the same numbers you had 2 years in a row. Play out this season then. Play out this season on your current deal, and we'll talk to you next year, and we'll pay you Kyron Williams money plus inflation next year when you do it twice. You don't want that if you're the player, do you? So this is the question. Does James Cook and his agent now, because they've proven they're savants of the moment, do they pull a Michael Scott paper company? And do they tell them, go, listen, guys, we just have to wait you out. we make, things may go downhill from here, but all we have to do is wait you out. And just hope that breaks them the way that it broke, what was it, Michael Wallace?
Yeah, David Wallace.
David Wallace.
That's fair. Yeah, it is very, especially with him reporting and then practicing and going through everything and then the scrimmage. And I was at that practice, the first practice after the scrimmage on that Sunday, and he was riding the bike. And I was like, oh, but there was 10 dudes riding the bike. They literally, there were guys waiting to ride the bike. That's how many people were out that day and doing management. And so I didn't think much of it. And then I was on my way home when the report came out that he, well, how come you're not practicing? And he was like, business. And he just kept saying that over and over again, essentially. Yeah, the timing is weird. I don't know what their end game is. And why not just start the hold in from the beginning? If you're here and you're already practicing, I think you could play devil's advocate to a multitude of sides for it, both in their favor and against them. I'm just really interested to see where it goes. Cause he kind of has leverage, but he also kind of doesn't. And I don't think this kind of, let's see who blinks first type of game is going to win with Brandon Beane. Brandon Beane has always been very much here's what we think you're worth. Here's what we're able and or willing to pay you. that's what it is. And if you like, they have literally in the past been like, you think A, we think B. All right, man, God bless you. Like, if you can get A somewhere else, cool. If not, we'll be here waiting to give you B.
Mike Partham in the comments, a crazy conspiracy take. HBO is paying Cook under the table to hold out for juicy Hard Knocks content.
I could see that. Especially if he's all about the cash and they're like, hey, man, we'll give you like X, Y, and Z. Just sit out for a little bit, have a couple days off.
We'll give you the bag. Just
sneaky,
be quiet.
Sneaky.
It would be fun.
Sneaky. It's where all that Game of Thrones money's going.
So, speaking to The Athletic, Cook's agent, Zach Hiller, spoke out with a bold statement. He made it clear that his client wants to remain with the Bills moving forward. James Cook only wants to be a Buffalo Bill. This isn't some $200 million Micah Parsons, Jerry Jones negotiation. We're hopeful there's a resolution soon, and we'll keep working towards that every day. I think that they realize that things are close. This is posturing. I'm not worried about it. It's just very funny. Like, how could you misread? And it's not even misreading. You had a situation in mind. It's just one of the dumbest ones ever. Don't you put your client in danger for 2 weeks and then said, hey, now is where we pitch our battle. And then immediately someone just submarined you.
A little bit. My head is also more focused on, especially like if a deal is imminent or a deal gets done or close, like, again, who knows? Rumors are rumors, reports are reports, all that kind of stuff. But, you know, Cook wanted like $15 million a year. He wants to be one of the higher paid backs in the league. I didn't see the Bills coming anywhere close to that. So, like, if they do get a deal done or if they are potentially close, does that mean they're coming up to meet him closer to those rumored reports earlier in the offseason? Or were those rumors and reports just rumors and reports and they didn't really hold any water? Like, now I'm kind of very interested. I thought he belonged in the range of 10 to 13 million average annual value per year. I didn't know if I wanted to be the team to give him that, but I thought he realistically could get that on the open market and potentially maybe even more if somebody really threw it at him. But hey, I just find this all very interesting because like his strategy, even being like more vocal in the media through the offseason. Like, look at all the people the Bills have paid, like Greg Rousseau, Terrell Bernard, Christian Benford, Khalil Shakir, like all these people. And
no one says a word.
Yes, they just show up, they play football, they're good at it, they go home, they show up the next day, they play football, they're good. It's just rinse and repeat, and then they get what they want. Granted, you have positional value and so on and so forth and all these like other variables and contextual pieces that add into it, but Cook is very much just throughout all of this operated in a way that doesn't really jive with the Bills' MO or Brandon Beane's MO. And then the position that he plays and now this way that he operates, it's just, I find it all very, very questionable. Not necessarily that there's a right way to go about it, but it just seems very like red flaggy for a lot of reasons.
You know what's not red flaggy? You know what's green flaggy to me? Is that the YouTube algorithm and all the stuff, all the data we get says that we have no female fans. But I see Tracy Brewster, Sophia Godfried. We've got Jessica Tennis. We've got ladies. Ladies show up for the Rockpile Report.
They show up for disguised coverage.
God, guys, we are inclusive. I love that. See, this is what I mean. That like, there's overlap.
They're here for Balen Spector.
They're here for Balen Spector talk is what they're here for. No, I love these guys, and I love her. Like someone we were talking about Keaton Mitchell earlier. She puts in the comments. She's like, this Raven is Sophia Godfried. The Ravens running back Mitchell is back and in business. Yikes. Yeah, that's going to be a problem.
They're a good football team.
That's going to be a problem.
I'd hate to play them to start the year.
Chris, stock up. Okay, let's wash the taste of the James Cook situation, as funny as it is out of our mouths. Stock up, and this one comes directly from Anthony. Bobby Babich and formational creativity on defense.
Oh.
Let's get into it, because when you sent that to me, I went back.
I made it up.
I know. I went back and I listened to a podcast you did with us back in the spring after free agency.
Look at that.
And we were talking about additions on the defensive line.
I couldn't find an adequate chain-ridden photo of Bobby Babich for this, so my apologies.
So you were expressing how much you liked the signing of Michael Hoyt.
Yes.
And the reason why is because you were talking about how the Rams would use him as a spiker on some plays in order to free up guys like Fisk or Verse. And how, yeah, he's important because he's big and he's physical and he can win sometimes depending on the situation, who his offensive line opponent is. But Hoyt also freed up their defensive ends to look like monsters.
Yes.
Because they ran really exotic fronts with good schematic behind it. And so, like, what I went back to as I'm listening to this last night, sitting on my couch, I went back and I looked at that play where against Miami, where Tua threw that disgusting pick 6 to Jamarcus Ingram. Here's what's great about that play. It didn't happen a ton, but if you go back and watch it, the defensive ends are Von Miller, and it's not Greg Rousseau. It's A.J. Epinesa at the defensive end positions. And then you have Ed Oliver and Daquan Jones, defensive tackle. The play happens. And what I noticed was that Von was lined up a little bit wider outside off tackle than Epinesa was. Epinesa was a little bit more like almost like a wide 9 kind of alignment. And then off the snap, Von crashes inside the formation across both the tackle and guard's face. And they both carry with him. And Oliver just runs right upfield untouched, and he's in the pocket. Now, that's great play design. What they couldn't have accounted for was Epinesa just completely beating the left side of the line. And now Tua's they're about to meet at a group hug at Tua.
He chucks it.
And Tua just decides to loft the ball up into the air, and the rest is history. But the idea is, I didn't see that type of schematic winning from the Bills. Like, we won. We dominated this pass rush rep from multiple places, but it was scheme driven, not, hey, this guy just made a really great individual play. And so with that in mind, it sounds like you feel really confident that there will be more of that, not just with the personnel they added, but also with what some of what you've seen.
I don't know if I feel really confident in it until I see it happen regularly, especially with the first 6 weeks and Hoyt being out. But yeah, it started really early in camp with when they would drill in team defense and they would go like the 1s, the 2s, and the 3s. It would be Babbage and a bunch of coaches. There'd be no offensive line, but Babbage would be simulating the quarterback. And then you'd have a bunch of other position coaches simulating like wide receivers, tight ends, running backs. And it started with them shifting at the last moment or motioning, and everything they were doing was drilling into the defense, like their proper adjustments and checks based on coverage, based on front. Okay, we're aligned. We're going to show this coverage on the back end because it's a 3-by-1, but now it's motion to a 2-by-2, so we're switching up, but they shifted back, and they're going to reset. Now it's actually a 3-by-1. Let's get back to the original call. Or, hey, we have this front, but now they motioned into this alignment, so now we're going to bring a blitz from the slot. Like, just drilling down the checks and adjustments. That was early on. That continued. And then that morphed into more of, we're working on 5-man pressures and 6-man pressures and simulateds and creepers. And then on Sunday, the 2 days after the scrimmage, it was, Hoyt and Bernard in the A gap. And they're coming, and it's a 6-man rush, 7-man rush. And then the next time they're both dropping into, the hook to curl. And it's actually just a 4-man rush. But essentially what you had was various body types and positions in non-traditional and traditional looks. And then some were dropping into coverage, some were rushing. Sometimes it was a blitz. Sometimes it was, just we're going to show pressure and not actually bring pressure. Sometimes it was a sim. Sometimes it was a creeper. Sometimes it was a 5-man. Just all the adjustments in the schematic variety. And I think that's what the Bills need more of in general. They've always been a defense that, has their fastball, and they run what they run, and you kind of know what you're getting with them. I think they need more pitches. They need to, instead of throwing the fastball like 80% of the time, maybe let's throw the fastball 50% of the time, and let's throw the change more and the curve more. Maybe develop a sinker a little bit, and, have like a good solid 3 pitches, but maybe a 5-pitch arsenal to kind of operate with. And I think the better and best defenses in the NFL operate in that mold, and I think you need to in today's NFL as much as you can do to change the pre to post snap picture on quarterbacks, and then tie in schematic variety and creativity on the back end. And yes, Jimmy's and Joe's, like having the horses to be able to execute it and win, also matters tremendously. But the Bills have always operated off the Sean McDermott philosophy, like we're just going to rush forward, we're going to win with our front four. But in order to do that, and people will be like, well, the Eagles did it. Eagles are a great example. The Eagles had like a 7 or 8 man rotation up front of just like studs,
really
and
good players.
That's exactly it. So you can just rush forward and let your front do the work against the run and the pass when you have all those guys. But if you don't, and even if you do, you still got to have some variety. And it's encouraging to see that. I think it's a necessary direction for the Bills. especially given the struggles they've had in the playoffs the past several years and being dictated to instead of dictating towards necessarily in a positive way. So I'm very positively encouraged, and I'm hoping we see that come regular season time. And even if it doesn't happen in the beginning, I'm not going to be deterred. I really want to see what happens when Hoyt comes back, when Ogunjobi comes back, especially Hoyt, like that spinner role that you were talking about where he gets used all over the line and in the front, and he might be off ball, he might be off ball blitzing, off ball coverage, he might be spiking, he might be looping, he might be a traditional rush, like he could be a 4-eye, he could be a 5, he could be a wide 9, he could be a head up on the center. Like all these things, that's unique to him. Like that spinner role is unique to him.
Well,
like,
that's why Brandon Beane flat out said, he's like, I wanted him before. Like I wanted that guy.
He's a good dude, and you're not like.
And you go, Michael Hoyt, why would Brandon Beane be prioritizing a guy who hasn't had more than 5 sacks? Or
Anthony's making Michael Hoyt sound like Ed Leslie.
That's terrible, Cobb. I wouldn't want him to be Ed Leslie.
Well, he can be Brutus the Barber Beefcake with WWE and good booking, good management. Then he can go to WCW and they don't know what to do with him, but he puts his all into being the booty man, the man with no name, Zodiac, the butcher.
Zodiac, that was it. Wasn't he the disciple? Yeah,
yes.
good
He
call.
gets ripped and is the disciple. He can do all the Ed Leslie, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, also known as the original Ass Man.
Crazy.
Booty man.
I like this. Jeremy Rogers, there's 300 Bills shows now. The thing that makes this one the best is the I don't give a fuck attitude and the hilarious banter between Drew and Chris. Most shows are just monotonous. You guys bring fun to it. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that we give you guys something to laugh about while we talk about things like as he's over here describing 4-eye and spinner rolls. And it's like, no, but we can still have fun with this. This can still be an enjoyable thing. It doesn't have to be dry. Not that he's dry. I love how Steve Noble in the comments was like, I don't understand why you guys didn't just bring the Christmas tree and put it back.
Oh, I saw that earlier. I meant to. That's on me. That's on me.
So I did see a tweet, and I want to pick your brain since we're talking about Babich, the defensive line, just the way things are going to go, like this variety that they're showing. I saw a tweet, and it was Nielsen coaching up some of the defensive linemen against a sled, and it was on some kind of a drill they were running. And somebody just tweeted out, what the hell does Marcus West even do here? And so the question is Nielsen really kind of the defensive line coach, just nobody's talking about it?
What would you say it is?
Yeah, exactly. You're the defensive line coach on paper. Why are you never on video coaching the defensive linemen?
Some of you are not gonna work here anymore.
Not gonna matter.
Yeah, that's fine. That's good. To that point, yeah, Nielsen's been very hands-on, and especially too if they want to move in this direction of more front creativity and more 5-man pressures and pressure looks, sims, creepers, stunts, loops, games up front, things that can really schematically unlock a defensive line and an entire defensive front. That is much more of Ryan Nielsen's bag than it is Marcus West's, especially when you look at Nielsen stops the past several years, in Jacksonville last year, but especially Atlanta 2023, New Orleans 2022. And that's also something, that I've kind of had my eye on, even like when I've been there, like noticing. And this even goes back to like OTAs and rookie minicamp. Ryan Nielsen has been, anytime you see like a defensive like line drill or individual, it's Ryan Nielsen like coaching him up. And so it's kind of like, oh, and I don't know if that is just indicative of the direction they want to go in and the sample size isn't there for Marcus West, and maybe it is 50-50 or it's still West's job, but it will also, I think, too, like Nielsen's a very veteran presence. He's well respected by McDermott and staff and even across the league. And again, considering the direction they want to go in, yeah, it's not really surprising to see him being so hands-on, especially at this point where if they are trying to take this direction, it is somewhat more of a new direction for this team. So you want the guy who's very experienced and well-versed in it being really hands-on to kind of drill it into everyone.
I love how you worked the new direction in there and then didn't take it and run with it and make it a thing.
What do you mean?
Yeah. So I like Tracy Brewster in the comments. My husband got me hooked on the Rockpile Report, and he's a Jets fan. Yes.
That's an interesting one.
And then Super Mexican, I'm just here for ethnic superiority with half of one of the hosts.
Half of one of the hosts. Viva la raza.
Yikes.
So with that,
Drew could be in the LWO.
Listen.
The WCW version.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, me and my friend Hector.
Is this a real story?
Yes, when we were freshmen at Morrisville State College, Hector was 6'1". He weighed about 135 pounds. All he wore were Sean John velour like tracksuits, and we called ourselves. And meanwhile, I'm 348 pounds with an afro, and we just declared that we were Latino Heat, and we would announce ourselves as such when we walked into house parties, and people loved it.
I mean,
People loved it.
especially at that time. You guys are probably super over.
Latino Heat. Latino. And it was just such a great time.
You're such a man. It's so funny. Like, I don't even really like wrestling, and you're just always talking about it. You're just always chewing my ear off about wrestling.
Well,
this, wrestling
if Drew was in the LWO, he would be El Dandy.
That's good. Yeah, El Dandy's a jam up guy. Bret Hart. That's one of my favorite Bret Hart promos. El Dandy's a jam up guy. Yeah, good. It's nice.
So here we are. We're getting all lovey-dovey over the potentialist defensive line, and then you go back to the offense and you look at one of the core groups where you were like, "Oh, there's a lot of new faces. There's a lot of shuffling bodies." I think it's stock down on this wide receiver competition because it's hard to be a position coach, a coordinator, a head coach, to evaluate a position group full of guys when none of them are available. How can you do an apples to apples analysis of who can play and who can't play the game of football when you're missing wide receivers, you're missing tight ends, you're missing the cornerbacks that should be covering said wide receivers and tight ends? So you don't even know if the success that some of your younger guys are having is organic or if it's just a byproduct of the fact that everyone's beat to shit. It's hard. And I feel like it may play out to the team's detriment over the course of the offseason process. You know, it was funny. Steve Tasker was making fun of Mike Tomlin because he said it shouldn't be shocking to anybody that the Steelers peter out in the back half of every single season and that they just get embarrassed in the postseason, because he's still an old school coach who believes that all season long you should carry a training camp mentality. Iron sharpening iron every day, padded practices, full contact.
You talking about Iron Mike Sharp?
No, I'm talking. I hate you. So the idea here is, how are you supposed, like, if you don't have that, if you don't have the iron sharpening the iron, how do you know that the wide receivers who you as a staff are trying to evaluate in real time, how do you know it's going to go well? How do you know that they have the skill sets that you think they have when they face actual NFL competition? Because you're not putting it out with any regularity on either side of the football. I think this wide receiver competition is broken in terms of what it is, and I'm scared of what that might yield. I mean, am I crazy for saying?
Obviously, you start with Chenault.
Yeah, he's been out. I mean,
If he's on the 53, it means the thing failed.
watching it, how mad would you? What do you do if, like, a whole bunch of injuries or crazy things happen? I don't know. I'm like, it's like 10 seconds left or 5 seconds left, AFC Championship, and it's Josh Allen to Laviska Shenault for the winning touchdown, and they go to the Super Bowl off that. Like, are you thrilled and dancing for joy, or are you like, what percentage of you is upset that it's Laviska Shenault doing it?
If it's Laviska Shenault sending us to the Super Bowl, I'll buy his jersey, I'll put it in a frame and hang it in my
But
basement.
how upset are you? Percentage of 100% happy versus 100% angry.
It's about 80-20.
80 happy, 20.
There's 20
okay.
of me that's just like, this guy shouldn't even fucking.
He helped us, but fuck him.
He helped us, but I still think he's an ass.
That's fair.
And I'll say it through gritted teeth.
That's fair. But yeah,
look at this.
it is annoying. Like, to your point.
You've got Shavers. Like, I've got some notes here. Shavers missed time, but he's made a case, I think, now the way the coaching staff is talking about him. Take the journalists who don't know how to read film and throw them out of the room. Joe Brady goes out there and says, I trust Tyrell Shavers. Sean McDermott goes, we have a sample size on Tyrell Shavers. Familiarity with the offense. He's got experience as a special teamer at the NCAA level, so you know he can do it, and he's played special teams in the NFL. He understands the game. He brings a size component, unlike KJ Hamler and Jalen Virgil. Okay? Then you look at a guy like Christian Wilkerson, 4 years of NFL experience, and he's got 6 touchdowns. 6 catches for 3 touchdowns over the last 2 years.
Efficient.
Which is crazy. That's a stupid statistic, but it is funny. And then Steven Gosnell, who just has
The new Andy Isabella.
Like what is everyone's gonna fall in love with? Oh my God, he's gonna be great.
Andy Isabella, Brandon Riley.
Nice.
He will never see an NFL football field. But
Shots now for wide receiver.
you can't figure it out. There's no way to sort this out, and there's no real evaluation possible.
It's definitely muddied it, I think, to say the least, on both sides between the corners and the wide receivers. I don't think, at least the top end, I don't think is too disjointed, at least from my perspective, right? Like, I knew at some point I just always expect Curtis Samuel to get banged up. He's already banged up.
He's already here. So you're already there.
So I really thought, like, okay, the top 3 wide receivers on the depth chart, rightly or wrongly, and not in any order, are going to be Palmer, Shakir, Coleman. And that's really, it ended up like a silver lining way. Palmer's needed a lot of reps to build rapport. He's gotten that because there's been injuries. Coleman's been getting a ton of time on task because there's been injuries. But like the top really isn't too influenced for me. Like the top 3 are still kind of the top 3. And even if Samuel was the 4 and Elijah Moore was the 5, like a lot of people surmised, they're still the 4 and the 5 in a largely run-centric offense that needs bigger body types and is going to put Coleman and Palmer on the field a lot anyway, plus Shakir. I don't think it's messed up the bottom of the depth chart too much. If anything, I think it's created more opportunity and like kind of a power vacuum for the bottom of the depth chart.
Steve Noble in the comments makes a great point. It's broken because you can't get rid of Samuel. Samuel is this like albatross on this wide receiver room where
next year
he doesn't produce anything. He's not reliable to stay healthy, and at the same time, there's no way you can move him.
When he started to get healthier down the stretch, he was effective. Not just that big catch against Denver, like the regular season home game against Kansas City. Samuel made a bunch of good plays, and it's just a matter of whether or not he's going to be healthy. I also think, too, like to his detriment last year, and I don't know if he made this call or the team did or both of them, he should have shut it down early in the year when he got turf toe. Like, he tried to gut through it, and I don't think it did him any favors, especially in the eyes of the fan base. Everybody was just like, he sucks, this and that, and he couldn't friggin' move. And then his surprise, like, as he got healthier,
all of a sudden, but most of his games, like if you go through his game log, they did it on WGR the one day, and it was pathetic.
What do you
mean? For the money
he's
making, if you look at his game log last year, it was terrible.
Well, what do you mean, like from a snap perspective? Well, yeah, but he's
from a production perspective and a snap percentage.
But 2 things: one, he's never going to be a high volume guy. He's there for like specific role. 2, it's that he's a wide receiver in a run first offense, so he's never going to be 80 catches, 1,000 yards. Like he's going to be 4 catches, 65 yards and a touchdown, and then the next week it might be like 2 for 17, and then he might have a game where it's like like 6 for 90. And he's going to, and especially in this offense, what bothers me with that, and again, if you're paying for it, the money conversation is a whole nother thing, but you can, on the one hand, or out of the one side of your mouth, praise the everybody eats mentality, and then on the other side of your mouth, be upset because somebody doesn't have consistent production in the everybody eats mentality at the position that isn't really valued.
Yeah.
But to the point, he's just, I thought it was a lot of money when they gave it to him, but I also thought, like, at that time, I was like, oh, well, Diggs is the 1, Kincaid is the 2, Shakir, and then Curtis Samuel. And then they got rid of Diggs, and then Kincaid has been and then you're like, oh, we need more from Curtis Samuel, and he hasn't been there. That's what's really frustrating.
Are we looking at a year where Dalton Kincaid might be relied on to be the most electric pass catcher we have?
Electric?
Well, the guy capable of delivering a big play, like when you look at their athletic profile, when you look at... Because that scares me.
If you can scheme up the matchup, the problem
I don't love that.
You know what's funny? The problem with that is that is still somewhat tied to how good of a blocker he is and the schematics that lead into it. Because if not, then he's just a bigger bodied wide receiver, which means he can still win, but it changes things. Yeah, it's I don't know. The receiver room is like, I'm not like completely worried about it, even though I don't love it. It's fine for how they're going to operate as an offense, which is condensed formations, reduced formational width, motion shifts, run game, all that kind of stuff. But there is a world where the receivers are somewhat of a vulnerability or a deficiency, and teams with good or athletic corners, like the Ravens last year and the Texans last year, just decide to play you in single high and dare you to throw on the outside or deep. And if you can't do that, then all of a sudden the run game becomes constricted. It is somewhat scary as you start to think about it. And
so it's like how you view the WWE currently.
No, I think the WWE, no, I don't. It's not that bad.
Steve Noble, Spectre and Samuel must be roommates. That's awesome. Yeah. So enough about the depressing state of the wide receiver battle. I want to talk about something positive, and that's Chris, stock up has to be Javon Solomon and AJ Epinesa. There's no other way to paint it. I mean, the talk for giant chunks of this offseason were guys like Michael Hoyt, Joey Bosa, Landon Jackson at defensive end. At defensive tackle, it was Larry Ogunjobi, TJ Sanders. These were going to be the things that changed what the Bills are on the defensive line. And everyone got excited about it. And so it's been nice hearing that two of the holdovers from last year are out there doing the damn thing. They're out there like standing out. For Solomon, what do you think his roster odds are? Because he's different from a lot of the other body types and skill sets that the Bills have on the roster right now.
I think it's really tied to the health of Joey Bosa and just what that edge spot looks like. So Hoyt is already out. I mean, Hoyt, I think, is in his own category, but he's a defensive end, right? Yeah. If we're kind of like putting a hard line on it. But he's out for the first 6 games, so that increases Solomon's odds. Bosa's going to get hurt at some point. So that increases.
No, it's going to happen. So.
Yeah, even if you put the kid gloves on him, he's going to get hurt at some point. I think he's got a reasonable chance to make the roster. It's really, I think, more. People might not like this because he's a recent like a day 2 pick. I really think it's between like Javon Solomon and Landon Jackson. Like I think Javon Solomon's competing with Landon Jackson for a spot.
That's a tough one.
I mean, if you had to, again, I need tape. I'm not gonna sit here and go off of like what. But
the
Solomon
problem is you can't. How hard is it to cut a 3rd round pick?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like that's where like the problem is. So Solomon has to really show out, but he has shown out in the scrimmage, in camp against the 1s, the 2s. I think the most encouraging thing for me with Javon Solomon is you're still seeing, like he as a rookie last year in the preseason and in the regular season, he made plays against the run, like real plays, not like. Oh, he just came screaming off the edge and, the tackle pulled by him. Nobody blocked him and he blew up play in the backfield. Like, no, you're seeing him like meet guys who are pulling or driving guys into the backfield, stacking, shedding, making a play. You're seeing that rush package work and him being able to get around the edge. And also the biggest thing, you're starting to see him go through guys a little bit and drive guys back. And it's tight ends, but it's also some tackles. And that was the biggest thing. Like when he was winning, he put up great numbers at Troy. Everything for him really largely was, cross chop, moves around the outside, dipping and ripping around the outside shoulder, flatten into the quarterback. There wasn't much of an inside move or speed to power, go through a guy. He started to develop that more. I really like what I've seen. He's arguably the person I'm most excited to see in the preseason because you can either view this as a feather in his cap or a lack of a feather in the rest of the caps at the edge room. Aside from Bosa, he's arguably got like the best rush plan out of anybody in the edge room. Like he understands angles and leverage and how to win and I'm going to do this in the first quarter and then I'm going to show it again in the 4th and do something different and I'm going to win quickly like that. Rousseau is still ascending and I think he's going to have a good year. But I think there's a realistic path for Solomon making the roster, starting with the injuries. And then I think, maybe a chance to beat out Landon Jackson. I'm also not very high on Landon Jackson, so that could be, for those of you who want to say, like...
Could be that.
That could be it.
Now, AJ Epinesa was a guy that I talked about as Chris. We did a whole show. He was on the graphic as, like, trade candidate. Why? Because he's making $8 million, and obviously with all these additions, he's going to be redundant. And the idea was as soon as one of these young kids can make AJ Epinesa expendable, it's what I thought Landon Jackson was going to come in here and do. Because I guess I just hold a lower opinion of AJ Epinesa of maybe it's like your Balin Spector argument.
Yeah, because you ruined a draft live stream.
Oh, I didn't just ruin it. I destroyed the hashtag sports live stream when we drafted AJ Epinesa.
Why? I don't know this.
Because it was
J.K. Dobbins.
Oh, okay.
I was like, you had your pick between J.K. Dobbins and this guy, and you took him? A guy who, as I called, you were going to have to lose weight and learn a whole different skill set in order to do what you wanted him to do.
In a COVID offseason where you couldn't meet in person and couldn't see anyone in the world.
This is the dumbest draft I've ever seen. And 500 people got mad at me. And then all of hashtag sports followers got mad at me when they watched it the next day. And then there was hate tweets, and but guess what? You can't stop me. I'm like a tank of negativity. my attitude is as someone who's a narcissist and also a nihilist, we're all going to die, and I don't have to care about any of your opinions because we're all going to end up in the same place. So
You sound like Mike McDaniel from the other day.
Yeah, it's so dark.
One day closer to death.
because Mike McDaniels knows he's going to be the first head coach fired this year. So
And then Brady's going to get a head coaching job and say hello to your new offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills.
that's fine. We'll fight him twice a year, and it'll be like Belichick, and like Saban, how nobody ever beat them. Like none of their disciples ever beat them. So with that in mind, I look at Epinesa, just pick sixes, and he's making plays. He's batting balls down. He's getting pressures. And you did see him last year. If you were trying to, like, even me as a hater, a bona fide, I'll get a jersey and just put on the back, Epinesa hater. I wore the jersey. I flew the flag for all the people who hate that guy and how he was mid as a Bills player. I'll tell you what, last year, he did a lot of the dirty work.
Yeah.
We talked about it in the pre-recorded show. Guys who are willing to do the dirty work to free other people up to do some great things. Epinesa did a ton of the dirty work. But not only that, you saw him flash against the run in ways that other defensive ends on this team didn't. Like when you have you have a Greg Rousseau and you have AJ Epinesa out there near the goal line against the Ravens in the playoffs, and it's AJ Epinesa who's forcing a tackle for loss around the goal line.
Yeah.
Specifically because he got penetration and then just met a guy who outweighed him by 40 pounds and didn't let him win.
Yeah.
That's it. He did the damn thing. And so in that way, I have to kind of look at it and go, for as much as the hater in me wants him to, us, the Bills, to go find a trade partner or make him a part of the package that inevitably brings a Micah Parsons to Buffalo. 3 firsts, AJ Epinesa,
James Cook,
Curtis Samuel, James Cook.
That sounds like such a fantasy deal. Like, I'll give you my fourth wide receiver, my second tight end, and my kicker for your RB1.
50 pounds of chicken wings from Lenova, like
blue cheese.
Like there's all gallons of blue cheese. There's all kinds of things we could do. But the reality is AJ Epinesa is rounding into form in terms of a really useful defensive end.
Yeah, I think it really comes down to how they decide to use him. Like 2 years ago, I keep coming back to this, and it's a smaller sample size, but that game in Philly against the Eagles that the Bills lost, Jordan Mailata is a really good left tackle. He's a really good offensive lineman. At the time, he was like one of the best left tackles in football. He still kind of is. And Epinesa had several reps in that game where he beat him clean and decisively, like quick, technical, just 100% win right off rip. And you're just like, oh, and he had a lot of good pass rush plays that year. And then last year, the pass rush took a step back. They asked him to play more on early downs.
Yep.
And he became more of a run presence, and you saw less from him. And then that's kind of interesting because 2022, he was not a good run defender. He was missing tackles. I remember the Christmas Eve game against the Bears. He was making a bunch of good plays against the run, and that was like, oh, maybe he's turning the corner. Because previously in that season, he was not a good run defender. And last year, he finished, I believe, like mid to low 20s in stop percentage as a defensive end. Like, he was a good player against the run. He was sound in his assignments. He made tackles for loss or stops for no gain or just stops. So if it's a run on like 3rd and 5, he's making the tackle for 2 or 3 yards and forcing 4th down. He was assignment sound and he made plays. And I think he's important because he's going to see a lot of early down snaps with Rousseau. Those are your quote unquote starters. Rousseau, obviously, you expect more as a complete, like, edge 1. I still think he's more of an edge 2 as a pass rusher. Hopefully, he can take the step up to a true overall, rounded out edge 1. But they're going to look to Epinesa and Rousseau to play the run on 1st and 2nd down. And then Epinesa's going to get some pass rush snaps, but then it's like, okay, it's 3rd down, time for Bosa, or time for Hoyt and Oliver and Ogunjobi and Rousseau, or whatever combination we want to play. Like, Epinesa is going to do... I just anticipate him having a very thankless job this year in the eyes of a lot of fans, because his job is going to be just muddy up, gum up the tackle and, the left tackle and the tight end. spike inside and just gum the hell out of this so Milano can scrape or Bernard can scrape and they can make a play behind you. And people are going to be like, yo, like, Bernard is killing it, Milano's killing it, and nobody's going to be like, yeah, but like,
AJ Epinesa out there doing his job.
He just drew
He's
two
doing the
guys
hell out of
and
his
kept
job.
them clean. Like there's just so much. Yeah, that's funny for Jessica. She said, "Hey, let's get biblical and add in the firstborn son in the trade offer." I like that. Yeah, like it's just. I think he had a better year last year than he gets credit for because people saw the pass rush stuff in 2023 and expected more of that or better in 2024, and he took a step back in that regard.
But became a better overall player.
Yeah, and I'm just interested to see like what his role is this year. Like, is it more pass rush stuff? I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be more of what we saw last year, which is, hey man, like play early downs, do the dirty stuff, keep Milano and Taryn and Bernard clean. Let's keep it to 2nd and long and 3rd and long or 3rd and medium, and that way we can get Bosa out there, or we can start working in the 5-man and 6-man pressure packages, Sims, creepers, all that kind of stuff. It's going to be a very thankless job, but in the midst of that, he'll have some batted passes. He might have an interception. Like he's making his interception on Sunday for a pick 6 was nice. He shot out of his stance. Allen went play action to the other side, came back, tried to hit the man in the flat, and Epinesa was right there. Hands picked it clean, housed it. Like he's got some juice. It's unfortunate. I don't think the Bills have done him a lot of favors.
No, they drafted him, and then they were like, "Okay, we'll figure it out, kid. Well, we make you remake your body."
Even 2 years ago, it's like a pass rush guy. No, now we need you to play the run. Like, and
for those of you in the comments, and those of you watching live, and those of you who are going to watch this afterwards or listen at home, the man's NFL comp was Cam Hayward.
That's what his NFL comp was.
He was built like a 3-4 defensive end.
Yeah, he was a heavy Iowa defensive lineman.
They made him pare down into an athletic, bendy, weird 4-3.
But even
player.
that, like, you can't make a guy you can have him shed the weight, but somebody who's not bendy isn't all of a sudden going to become bendy.
Yeah.
Like they took a guy who was a bull, and they wanted to be like, hey man, yeah, you need to get quicker and twitchier and use your hands and have technique and all of that. And also you got to do it by yourself.
My thing, if I was him, would be like, why did you draft me? It's like if I show up for day one of a job and they go, okay, cool, you understand how to program X, Y, and Z. Well, now we need you to know Python. And you go, wait, I didn't sign up for that.
Oh, you're an accountant? Cool. We need you to run the warehouse.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, wait, but that's not what I do.
And also, because there's an epidemic or a pandemic.
No, but you're a smart guy. You can figure it out.
You got to figure it out on your own because we can't meet with you. So we're just going to talk to you over the computer every once in a while to see how things are going. Also, a lot of the stuff in the world is closed. So you have to change your body type and figure out a new diet and figure out where to buy all that stuff because a lot of things are closed or people are going out of business. But we'll talk about that tomorrow on Zoom. Enjoy the rest of your day. See you in August.
Anthony, do you know anything about 6th round Ravens pick? Is it Bilal Cohn?
A little bit. Why? What happened?
Let's just say theme of the night.
No, come on. No.
He falls in line with Joe Theismann and Alex Smith.
No!
I knew the way you were holding the mic and looking at me, I knew it was going to be something that I was going to not like, and I figured it was some injury that I would not.
Here's what I love.
I couldn't unsee it on Twitter.
Anthony comes in here and then has the realization. He goes, wait, Drew and Chris are the bad people. He's like,
you're not nice.
He goes, I come in here and you guys don't tell me nice things. You know what my weaknesses are and you exploit them regularly.
Because
that's not true. You don't exploit my weaknesses. You're just mean. You just keep trying to find the weaknesses and you keep poking, and it's just mean.
Well, when we recorded our other episode is when the Anthony Richardson injury happened, and
we had a fun conversation about it.
Not fun.
Anthony's face.
But I doesn't like it.
But it's, I mean, if I have to deal with that to get the 1-pie pizza, it's worth it.
And the whiskey
and the drinks, yeah, it's
which
all
is fair.
I'll take it. It's fair. Par for the course.
It's really the only way we get anybody in here.
Yeah, you're like, you want to come? And I'm like, no. And then you're like, but the 1 pie, I'm like, I'm there. And the whiskey sours, I'm there.
So I'll tell you what. They didn't do AJ Epinesa any favors. You know who is doing himself some favors this camp is Cam Lewis.
Jessica Chanel.
Chris, stock up Cam Lewis. Let's talk about this because it comes kind of that dynamic I talked about last week. Every man's success comes at somebody else's expense. And so in that way, Cam Lewis right now on his way up, Bishop, his injury has opened the door for this. Cam Lewis is being talked about he's playing everywhere. He's making plays with the ones. He's making plays with the twos.
He's also Ed Leslie.
He's had he's had red zone interceptions.
One of these girls are Ed Leslie.
He looks really good in camp. He's being physical with opposing wide receivers. He looks the part of a veteran safety in the NFL. And you look around and go, well, shit. Bishop's hurt again. This was the year he was supposed to take a step forward and claim a starting role. And the Bills did everything they could to give Bishop that role. He just hasn't been available for all of it.
Yeah, which is not great when you drafted a guy for a scheme that he's not necessarily fit for.
Bang! So now you worry about his fit when it eventually comes around because everything's always evolving every single week in training camp when they realize the talents they have on hand. Hey, we can mix and match fronts, but that means that the back end has to do different things. The communication, let me take you on a journey. Guys, I'm not quite Anthony, but I'll tell you this.
Walk with Drew.
The communication.
New segment. Walk with Drew.
The communication that you have to have on the front end versus the back end, it's a chain. And so what happens is that, well, you talk about how great and interchangeable at the top of the show, we were talking about this Bills defensive front can be. It's crazy to think that you're going to have a potential starting safety in Cole Bishop who has missed giant chunks of camp and giant chunks of the exposure to the rest of the players around him and how they move, what these formations look like.
Especially at a spot that Bobby Babbage calls the quarterbacks of the defense.
When they call shifts, you have to know what your responsibility is. So to your point, when an offense is rotating through looks and you go, okay, the slot's no longer blitzing. Now they're going to drop into coverage. Now I'm going to be responsible for creeping up and I'm going to have to come in like a cover 3. Or depending on what they do, we're going to drop back into a too high shell. You have to know that. But your key is what the guys in front of you are doing because you're watching it happen in relation to what the offense is doing near the line of scrimmage. If you miss time on task with your team, you're never going to be great at this. I don't know how durable he'll be when the season starts. And that becomes a major problem. Meanwhile, you've got a guy like Cam Lewis, who every time you give him the thing, he's just like, well, I'll go out there. And yes, maybe once in a while I will let Justin Jefferson catch this fucking ridiculous ball. That. I'll never forgive Cam Lewis for that. He owes me. You talk about what would a player have to do. Laviska Shenault catching like a pass that sends the Bills to the Super Bowl. That wouldn't even it wouldn't absolve him in my eyes.
Wow.
Cam Lewis can make up for that mistake against the Vikings that day. If he goes out there when Cole Bishop is inevitably not available, and goes out there and plays a really strong game against a team like the Bengals or the Chiefs. Give me that and I'll forgive your sins. That's it.
No, that's just a small thing.
And you know what that reminds me of? Lord of the Rings, because I'm a dork too. When the guy, whatever I can't remember his name, but the guy who's the steward of Gondor literally looks at his son
Voldemort.
Looks at his son Faramir and goes, he's like, you go out there, you're my son Boromir was everything. And he died.
Yeah.
And now you're just here. He goes, you know how you can redeem yourself? You can go out there and either it's like the old 300 thing, like either come back with your shield or on it. And that's it. Go against one of these teams, Cam Lewis, and go out there and make a day for yourself. Have a day. Have a Jamarcus Ingram against the Dolphins game, and you'll be absolved of your sins in my eyes.
He could also absolve himself if at halftime he's able to get out of the locker room, run across the street, and move certain tents around the lot so Drew doesn't have to 3-point stance certain tents in our tailgate lot.
Hilarious.
To move them.
Oh yeah, I crushed. So some idiots blocked our, literally blocked.
They
off.
left their tent up.
You don't leave
the nerve,
and not just up, not like a 10 by 10. I'm
100
talking
by
like
100.
No, I'm talking
10,
like
by 10,000.
I love how you know I'm fired up. So see this, I love you. Don't leave me hang.
I didn't see it. My eyes are closed. I was laughing.
What I love is these people put like a 20 by 20 staked down
Dementor,
like
Lord of the Rings.
Dementors are from Harry Potter.
Well, what? No, Dementors. They're the ones who take the ring up to the mountain, and then they do the Crucio curse, and then...
Damn it! See, he's doing it. Ah! All right. You know what? We've established that he also can be a Drew Gear.
Fair.
I want that on record, that Anthony has it in him to be Drew Gear sometimes.
That's fair.
So these people left their tent staked down, and they blocked off every egress for every other vehicle in the parking lot.
Oh, that's significant.
And it was like I said, not a pop-up tent. It was a tent. And
Drew goes, get out of the truck and move that. I get out of the truck because I'm in the passenger seat.
Yeah.
And I go to move it, and I go, they're staked down. And then Drew gets out of the truck, like 3-point stance, shoulder in, and just rips a leg out. And it's like a Bill's tent. I'm like, we got to get out of here. We got to get out of here now.
He's like, whatever that was cost a lot of money, and we got to go.
That's why I thought we were going to move lots this year, but apparently
Who's scared of the consequences? They can find me, and we can solve it right there on Sunday. Opening week 1. Hey, guys, come to the tailgate and watch me solve hey, guess what? We were playing the Ravens. It's hilarious. We can figure this out together as a community.
That's what Frodo said to Sauron.
Well, it was a Bill's tent to begin with.
Come find me. Somebody, Tank Ninja said the Dementors are the ones that got Prison Mike. Nice Office reference. I like that. The worst part about prison was the Dementors.
So if we have to, getting back to football, if the Bills have to keep Cam Lewis,
yeah,
like if he just
they're
continues,
going to keep Cam Lewis. He's not going to be not kept.
Here we are talking about AJ Epinesa, Javon Solomon. Like there's all these positions where it's like, man, I really wish I could keep one extra. Man, I wish I could keep one extra.
CB.
How do you find room for both all of these defensive linemen who have utility and also a Cam Lewis?
Special teams.
No, but I mean, like, so who goes? From what position group are you deducting a spot from to give it to Cam Lewis?
You're only doing 5 wide receivers, and then, well, Cam probably bleeds it, right? If you're going to look at Cam as safety 3 and nickel 2, that probably means Derek Forrest is getting cut.
Sure.
So you got to drop a safety. You're probably dropping a wide receiver.
Chenault,
yeah. Well, you're going to keep 3 tight ends.
Chris, pull up our lads for the Bills and go back because they give you the archiving ability. Pull that up and go back to October of 2024.
Go back to October of 96.
I want to see how many of each player they had on the roster at that point.
The pop-ups in the interface for our lads.
I know that's the one thing I hate about the website.
I've started using it more ever since like you preached about it like a year ago when we were on the show. It is nice, but like then if you exit out of it and come back, like it's just a giant pop-up screen.
All the pop-ups, it's like Chris is trying to steal a UFC pay-per-view.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Russian websites.
Yeah, stream this show.
This is their October 1st of last year.
Okay, so if you look down at the chart, Chris, scroll down for a second. Okay, so safeties, only 4.
I don't think they're going to keep 6 linebackers.
And this year they're never going to.
Well, they already cut Spectre.
Yeah.
Spectre's gone, and I think that may be the position that sees the most attrition this year. But also, they have to feel pretty good about what they have in Shaq Thompson, Joe Andreessen,
And Dorian.
Ulufoscio, nobody's stealing him. They can stash him on the practice squad. Yeah. I think you're right. I think they borrow a number from the wide receiver room. Or not wide receiver. Wide receiver room, 1 from the linebacker room, and now all of a sudden you're in business. You found a job for Solomon, and you found a place for...
It's just going to be tough. Then it's like, okay, like, so what happens to... Then you're looking at corners. That means, like, is Jamarcus Ingram gone? Is Brandon Codrington earning a spot purely as a returner? Like, what's happening with Jordan Hancock? And what's happening with Dorian Strong?
Yep.
And, like, the DB room is a dogfight. And... Lewis is just a really high floor player. He doesn't do anything like sexy. No, but what he does, he plays 100 miles an hour 100% of the time. He plays similarly to Taron Johnson. Like he plays like
Tank Ninja in the comments. Spectre is a ghost.
Oh, good call. Nice. Well done. A+. There's nowhere to go but down from here. Clay, cancel the stream. This has been fun. Like he plays with everything that he's got. And he's gotten better. See, there it is. There's the pop. It's so dumb. I just see him making the team. He's valuable. He's got special teams value. He's the backup nickel.
He started for you in big games.
Yes, and right now, again, I don't know who safety 3 or safety 4 is, but with Rapp and Bishop out last Sunday, the safeties with the ones were Hamlin and Lewis. So take that, what you will. I think Bobby Babich likes Jordan Hancock, but he was talking about him needing to shore up the details. DeMar Hamlin knows all the details and is very steady Eddie. I know a lot of people will be like, well, cut DeMar Hamlin. I don't know if he's going to go anywhere because his coaching staff likes him, and as annoying as that may be, maybe Dane Jackson goes bye-bye. Like, you could
fire Dane Jackson into the sun tomorrow, and it wouldn't bother me at all.
That doesn't shock me.
If only because he was on the field for that 13 seconds disaster, and I'll never forgive him for it.
Yeah?
Yep. Go back.
He was the corner on that side?
My pettiness.
Who were the
is
two
long.
corners? Him and...
My pettiness is deep.
Because Trey was hurt. Trey got injured that year against the Saints.
Yep.
Was it Dane and Levi?
Yeah.
I think it was on Levi's side.
Doesn't matter whose side it is.
Yeah, it fucking does.
I want everybody, listen, you can't root for the downfall of the entire team, but everyone who was on the field at that point, I hope something really bad happens.
You cannot. No. Yeah, but you can't be like, well, he was on the field. Like, that's just.
No, he's on the field. He was there.
Not to mention, too, like, whether rightly or wrongly, they were being coached to play at that depth. So,
good.
One, there's that. Two, I don't think he was on that side.
Hot take. Even if Sean McDermott wins the Super Bowl, I'm going to be that guy who's like hunting Nazis late in his life, like down in Argentina.
Who's doing that?
That's how I feel about Sean McDermott. I'm going to be like, listen, there's no way you can ever outlive this. Like, you owe me something for this.
So if Sean McDermott gets a Super Bowl,
nope, you owe me two.
That doesn't balance out 13 seconds.
Nope, because the first one you should have had that year when you beat the Chiefs because you had them beat.
But you don't know if they were going to beat or win the next week. They could have lost to Cincinnati.
Doesn't matter.
Yes, it fucking does. You're guaranteeing that they win a Super Bowl that year.
You don't get to control my pettiness.
I'm not trying to control your pettiness.
My pettiness knows no bounds.
I don't think it's pettiness. You're just inaccurate.
Stupidity.
Correct.
And guess what? That also
knows no bounds.
It also knows no bounds.
Anthony, in the likelihood Dane Jackson is cut, practice squad, or do they keep him?
Oh,
per Jessica Tennis.
Oh,
I think he's in trouble.
I think cut is the first option. I think keep is second. I think practice squad is third.
I was going to say prison might be the second option, but I guess we can.
What's he going to jail for?
Being terrible.
Dane Jackson.
He's a perfectly fine CB4.
Dane Jackson is to
cornerbacking
the way Balin Spector is to linebackering for Drew. Yeah, it's the same wavelength, same hatred.
I see that.
So
I get it.
Now we've belabored this point. But I will say,
acrimonious.
I will say that it is disappointing to see Cole Bishop missing more time.
Yeah.
It's not.
I don't have anything to add like that. Yeah, it sucks. He needs time on task. I've said it on this show. I've said it on my show. I'm so fucking tired of talking about Cole Bishop.
That's my point. I'm tired of having to talk about him being hurt.
There it is. Stock down. Cole Bishop.
That's fair. Yeah, like he needs more time on task, and I'm tired of talking about him because what I'm about to say I've said like 75 different times. Like his best tape and his best usage for me coming out of college was in and around the box and in and around the line of scrimmage. I thought he fit best in a 3 safety defense.
He was the Kyle Duggar role.
Yeah. Let him be like a big nickel or this hybrid, like in a Baltimore defense or Arizona Cardinals or the Patriots defense. Like, I didn't think he was a seamless fit for the Bills, but he was athletic, so they went with it, and he's got some size to him, so cool. But he needs a bunch of time on task, and he missed that time on task last year in the offseason, and he's missed more time on task this year in the offseason. And I don't know, it's just frustrating. He needs reps, and I know he was practicing today, so hopefully he gets back on the field as soon as possible. But especially too, like where Rapp has had some injury spots as well. Like safety is scary, and even if Rapp and Bishop, this is also something I've said a million fucking times, even if Rapp and Bishop are healthy, I'm fine with both those players in a vacuum. I don't like them paired together. because of the lack of like complementary aspects they have.
Because
towards one
Bishop
another.
is bad and Rap hurts his own teammates.
That Rap hurts his own teammates thing is so blown out of proportion. I fucking hate it. Like, I want
Drew loves that.
Of course he does. I want for the people who talk about that, I want to talk about as much as like how many touchdowns Rap saved last year, coming from deep, come from depth, and making like saving tackles.
No, Rap is great at what he does.
How many times has he hurt someone? He hit someone what? Once? Twice?
3 times a lady.
Yeah.
But
How many?
speaking of ladies, Jessica
many?
Tennis, what is the likelihood Dane Jackson gets cut,
We asked
put
that
in the
already.
practice squad?
He just
Went
asked
through
that
that.
already,
I
guy.
know. But then it's followed up by another female commenter. Rockpile Report is inclusive.
You're going to this well again?
I'm going to the well again.
All right.
Would love them to keep Ingram. And this is
But
where
my opinion isn't being asked for. That's a funny comment. I would also prefer to keep Jamarcus Ingram.
I
over
would
Dane
love
Jackson.
a guy, and this is where this offseason for the Bills is going to be crazy when it comes to defensive backs, because you're going to hemorrhage guys who you don't want to. But then because of draft pedigree and what you paid for certain guys, you're kind of stuck.
Yes.
Where your room is what it is now.
Yes.
Luckily, Trey White is playing well above what anybody thought he would.
No jinx.
Like no jinx. You better knock.
No, I don't knock. I do fingers crossed and say no
Okay,
jinx.
there we go.
You better knock.
You better knock. So I see people who complain about, oh, Trey White, oh, we brought him back and he's old and slow. Typical Bills are never going to win. And I go, you have no concept. This guy's a warrior and he's out there trying to win. And then you see it in that first episode of Hard Knocks. But also, if anybody who went to camp, you saw Trey White play and you go, oh, those feet look like
Looks very good.
he looks mechanically like a guy who
good.
should be a good cornerback in the NFL.
Yeah.
The guys like Dane Jackson, like, yeah, sure, some of these guys are movable objects.
Yeah.
They just are. They're chess
He's a
pieces
very
that you
fine.
can take off the board.
He's a fine CB4.
Sure.
But I'd rather have Jamarcus Ingram, who can play inside and outside and play special teams.
And then if somebody came to you and said, hey, we needed Jamarcus Ingram, but we also really like what Dorian Strong did in the preseason, they go, sure. Bye, Dane. Bye. The problem is you've signed contracts at other places and you drafted people, and now you're like, oh, shit, what are our numbers at this thing?
Yeah.
And then, oh, we have a returner who's also a defensive back. Damn it.
Yep. It gets real congested real fast.
The Bills, I think Hard Knocks is going to have a fun time with them when it comes to roster cutdowns, if only because it's a really good team with really good players who are going to be able to leave here and not get snuck out of practice squad. Some team will look at that and go, hey, we wanted Jamarcus Ingram. I'll take that guy. I mean, if you're Carolina, what do you have to lose? I'll take a Jamarcus Ingram and put him on my game day roster. Why wouldn't I? I'm terrible. So
Why wouldn't I? I'm terrible.
Stock up, stock down. I want to talk about stock down for all the Zach Davidson truthers. It's coming to an end, baby.
Are there Zach Davidson truthers?
Oh, there were.
Kevin Messeri.
Like we're not even like, yeah, we don't subtweet, we don't sub pod, whatever you want to call it. These millennials, this nonsense that you can't just say a thing about a person who said something you don't agree with and have it not be. Like, I'm not trying to offend you. I'm not attacking you as a person. You just had a terrible opinion, and here's my referendum on it.
I didn't realize there was Zach Davidson truthers.
Michael Partham wants to know stock up or down players with dangerous hobbies.
Like drifting and python hunting. It's hilarious.
Yeah, dangerous.
I love how AJ Epinesa is out in the middle of the jungle just grabbing snakes, and they're like, no, that's cool.
Yeah, he's like, I got him with my bare hands. The dog like called him out, and I got him. I was like, the fuck? Also, part of me was like, you should work on your pass rush.
You should work on your pass rush.
But
Why are you out here catching snakes?
But I
in the
guess
swamp?
do you.
AJ was out in the Everglades hanging with Skinner.
Nice quality 90s WWF character. Classic.
So you have that, and then you have the fan base that was just enamored with Zach Davidson when it was popular to do so last year.
I never realized that was a
And
popular
shocker,
thing.
he got cut. And so now you have the Jackson Hawes actually catching the football.
Yeah.
And that becomes a problem for everybody in that regard. But Jackson Hawes, easily tight end 3. They drafted him.
Yes.
But he's played like a tight end 3.
Yeah.
I think that now here's the thing. You've seen practices. You've watched the guy play.
I have.
Can I ask you a question? If we were to go back to who was the tight end 3 from last year? What was his name?
Zach Davidson.
Quentin Morris. Quentin Morris or Jackson Hawes?
I mean, I've never seen Jackson Hawes take real NFL snaps, so I'm going to go with the known quantity and say Quentin Morris.
Okay. The reason that I like the idea of Jackson Hawes...
But I like the idea of Jackson Hawes more than Quentin Morris, but it's still an idea at this point.
I just like the fact that when you look at this, similar physical makeup and athletic profile, at least, to Dawson Knox coming out of college. Dawson Knox didn't catch many passes at Ole Miss.
No.
When he did, he was a freak.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Hawes isn't that.
No. And this is where they're a little bit different, but a little bit the same. You've got Dawson Knox, who at Ole Miss, when you put the ball in his hands, he was a freight train, but it happened 19 times in the season. He only caught 19 passes. So then you look at him and you say, here's a guy who has a similar height, similar weight, similar vertical leap, same 3-cone score. Their athleticism testing is very similar. Identical bench press at the combine.
It's our first offensive pick this year was Jackson Hawes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
round.
hilarious. That is funny. They both had similar years of NCAA experience. One was a senior, one was a red shirt junior. And then the other thing that I loved is that they excelled at the physical aspects of playing football. That's the thing where when you drafted Dalton Kincaid in the first round and then go, oh shit, we can't tab this guy to block as a tight end 2 in a 12-man formation.
I don't know if Knox was that guy either when he started out. He was much more pass friendly than run friendly.
He was, but then you've watched him embrace it.
Oh, he's improved tremendously
and become that guy.
Yes.
And so when you look at what Jackson Hawes is, he came in being the guy who can do the blocking, but then they looked at him and said, I think we can work with the pass catching. And so they draft him, and you see the through line of, hey, we did the thing where we drafted the high-level pass catcher. It's still a work in progress. Let's just go get another tight end that just mashes. Let's go get a hammer. And then you see him in training camp, and through the first week or two, you realize, like, oh, maybe this guy he doesn't have a ton of juice as a pass catcher, but he might give you something. I mean, Eric Turner, your cohort.
Who?
Yeah, who? Wait, I don't know that guy. Puts out a video of him running a pivot route in the back of the end zone against the safety, and it's pretty good. Like his feel for how he was being covered. And his ability to use his size and frame to just create natural separation. Just to be like, nah, fuck off. Without it being a real push off, it's kind of a thing of like, that's football.
Yeah.
He's out there doing it.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, he can get some separation. All right, then maybe as a third tight end, this guy can, like, especially knowing Dawson Knox's history of missing a game or two here and there.
Or several.
There were several. This might be of significant value to the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, 1,000%. And a lot of it for me is just kind of par for the course with him. I think he got overbilled as a blocker and a mauler in a positive way because he is very good in that regard, but it overshadowed, like, he's capable from like 0 to 10 yards. And he's not this athletic marvel or down the field stretcher, but he can go 0 to 10. He can separate from a linebacker. He can find space underneath. He can, get to the sideline and get a flat route and get horizontal a little bit and, get physical after the catch a little bit as well. But he's more than functional enough as a pass catcher to be balanced out with, and I'm thinking to kind of compare him to Dalton Kincaid, right? We know what Kincaid is as a pass catcher. We know what he is as a run, or is not as a run blocker. Hawes is a better pass catcher and receiving threat than Dalton Kincaid is a run blocker.
Okay.
So, like, to kind of put that into perspective, like, Kincaid's pass catching ability is to Hawes's run blocking ability, but Hawes is a better pass catching threat than Kincaid is a run blocker. And I think that's awesome to have as a tight end 3, especially when you want to rock 12, if you want to rock 13. Some of my favorite reps that in camp have been him and Reggie Gilliam, just people moving the shit out of guys on the front side of runs. Like, that's nasty. And he's going to see more than that because Kincaid's going to get banged up at some point. Knox is going to get banged up at some point. He's looked good. I'm excited to see him as well. But he's really just kind of what we're seeing in camp is what was on his Georgia Tech tape, which is cool.
Yep. And then is Reggie Gilliam the forgotten Buffalo Bill?
He better not be. I've been tweeting about him a bunch. I think they need more. I think a nice little tweak is more 21. Having that be Reggie Gilliam. I like him as in some, offline tight end looks. I like him in some fullback looks. I love him in some offset pistol. Give me more Reggie Gilliam.
And a Raising Cane's.
Sure, why not? And more LaVisca Chenault.
My favorite is that Reed tweeted out tonight. He's like, "Mama, we did it. Oh, where is it? Oh, come on.
We gotta
give
raise
it to me.
Cane's?
I lost it."
They talked about it on Hard Knocks.
Apparently,
Okay.
they talk about it on Hard Knocks. Reed's quest to put a Raising Cane's in Buffalo.
Oh, okay.
Do you think he mentioned Q42 on Hard Knocks?
Did he?
No.
No.
Oh,
No,
that's a
he's-
missed opportunity.
With that said, we can't dwell on the loss. All we can do is look at the positives. Stock up, stock down. It doesn't matter. We're all going to die.
Wow.
We got to get out of
Spectre
here, guys.
is a ghost.
Guys, I love this. Thank you to everybody who showed up. Thank you to everybody who participated. We love you. We got to get out of here. Tell everybody where your shows are going to be and what you have coming up.
You can find me live every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, live on YouTube, hosting a show called Disguised Coverage. You can also find me co-hosting the Cover One Film Room live essentially every Wednesday as we get into the season here. Both of those shows are heavily film-based, especially the Film Room, but everything I do is film-based and analytics, but a lot of it on scheme, structure, X's and O's, player evaluation with a heavy amount of tape being shown, breakdowns happening, and being talked about at a high level, but dissected in detail and with film evidence on top of it. And I also post a ton of that on social, on Twitter at pro__ant. That's pro2_ANT. I'm also on Blue Sky at proant. No underscores there, just PROANT. And I will be doing a live post-game show immediately following every one of the Bills preseason games live on the Cover One YouTube channel. And that is me. Thank you very much for having me.
What I love is that you act like I won't just show up there and just talk nonsense.
You
in
do.
your chat.
This is regular. I've seen it a lot. I appreciate it very much. No, and I don't act like it won't happen.
I try to break
expect
it. I show up to
Won't happen.
Anthony's shows and try to break him, Chris. It's like
won't happen.
kayfabe. Like I got to get him to break.
I stay in character.
Hey,
I gotta get him to break.
He read
kayfabe.
my comment about Mark Jindrak the other day.
I did. That was super good. That was a super good comment on Jindrak.
Look at this, Steve Noble. Why I'm always half hammered every Thursday night. It's because you're watching the Rockpile Report. That's what we bring to the table, baby. I love it. Thank you for everyone who showed up, but we got to get the hell out of here. I'm Drew Gear. That's Chris Kruger. That's Anthony Prohaska, and this has been your Rockpile Report.